Thursday, um, first Thursday of the year. It is also Black History Month, which is a great time. And I would like to kick this off with a piece of mine. Um, I feel is relevant um, in the sense that we must preserve our history before others start to create their own narrative for it. Um, I just spent the weekend with my daughter, and we had a great time traveling to Southern California and ending it with a wonderful trip to the park. So it just kind of made me think when I went back home um, and about this poem. This poem I speak of my elementary school and what hip hop means to me. I don't know if you guys know, but 2024 it will be a part of the Olympics. B-boying is going to be a part of the Olympics. Um, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So that's a big thing. Um, and also in 2028, it's going to come to Los Angeles. So, America, we're really going to shine light on it at that point in time. So I want to do this piece called When I Say Hip Hop. And like I said, it kind of documents my history and what it means to me and the essence of hip hop before we allow rap to just be the element that they really promote and let take charge. So this piece is When I Say Hip Hop. And I feel like with these gray hairs, I feel like a true hip hop historian. But when I say hip hop, you see, I tend to think of Planet Rock. Because see, I used to pop lock and blow up the spot from here to Ypsilanti by myself or with my family. You see, I was the shorty of the crew, but my age couldn't ban me. Back in 83, to me, was the old days. We used to battle at Loma Alta Elementary School in them hallways, where some had skill and still had all A's, while young Tracy Murray was hitting J's. Swish, that was love. Hey, so can you feel me? It still be that same old ish. I now grabs the mic, flip the script, and boogaloo like shrimp. Always down for the cause. I even used to pause with Run DMC, Jam Master Jay, and my Adidas. You see, I'm just taking it back to the essence of the real hip hop. When I was a little shorty and I used to pop, walking down the street with my new boom box. Just a man and his music, like Scott the Rock. And I used to break dance every chance I got. I'm saying I used to break dance to Toto Franz in my parachute pants. Backspin and then I chose my B-boy stance. Broke it down and started ticking like Mr. Wave and have him tripping. Up rock to the joint, point, and catch him slipping. Because you see, there was no kids in the cipher, no room for cats that just wanted to chill. It was always like, brother, you're next, so you best keep it real. And I still walk the streets with that same pizzazz. But instead of a boombox, I now rock a pen and a pad. And on my shoulders, a diaper bag. Because above all, I'm just a dad. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Taking my daughter to the park just brought back some of that. And like I said, we got to make sure that we continue to be the authors of our narrative and keep things going. All right. Well, I would like to invite you guys to our wonderful featured poet that we have today. Goes way back. it's still hard for me to believe that one of the first times this young lady shared was at First Thursday, because then she was powerful. I remember it. I remember as soon as she got off the mic, I was DJing at the time, and all I can do was one, take a moment of silence, and then follow that up with a gospel song, because she really brought it. She really brought it. And who I'm talking about is Tyanna Braswell. She is a queen and a South Bay native. Attended Anza College, where she found her passion for social equity and childcare. She is a spoken word artist who has performed throughout the Bay Area and toured the West Coast, opening up for well-known poets, and has presented poetry workshops at high schools and on college campuses. She is also an early childhood educator who believes in equipping children with the proper resources and tools in learning, which will bridge the social economic inequalities that are plaguing our community. She got her start, as I mentioned, First Thursday, and I would like to welcome the wonderful Tyanna T. Braswell. Let's give it up for T.
How you doing? Bless
Doing well.
you. Thank you for having me. Um, yeah, really full circle moments. I started at Anza right after high school in 2013. So it's been almost 10 years, a little shy of 10 years, which is crazy. And I really appreciate the platform. First Thursdays, it was like my thing that kind of got me through the week every month. Um, Also, it was something that was helpful to like keep me on my toes with poetry, and also like I still say this because Mick Tate said this when I was just a younger person, starting off, and he would talk about how poetry is cathartic, and that like stuck with me for a very long time, and I think y'all heard him say it too, and it's a phrase that is just 3 words, how much that really set in for me, how necessary poetry is, as well as the role that it plays as a bigger tool for community. Also, the ability to speak our truth and have our stories be told for ourselves is also really important to me. And so I'm super grateful to come back now as a featured poet when I was once just a 17, 18-year-old person coming to, hear it out. And I'm also super grateful to my best friend who had, pushed me to go up and just perform when I was just coming there to listen. So thank you all for having me. Um, and so, yeah, I'm going to get into it. I got a few pieces for you.
Take your
I
time.
feel it's important to start with, I guess, the first piece that I ever did at First Thursdays. And that piece has carried me so many places since then. And I'm super grateful for it because it was such a vulnerable truth for me that I never thought that I was going to share, and being able to share it in that space for the first time gave me hope for what something that could be painful could turn into. Um, and so yeah, this one is called Open Letter, or Dear Daddy. Dear Daddy, what does being whole feel like? See, a place in my heart is empty, so I know what holes feel like, and I've always seen myself as a puzzle with missing pieces. As a girl bred on his hostility with no knowledge of what pieces, I found a picture of you and my mother, and on the back it said, to Mom, I know this isn't what you call perfect, but I hope one day you'll accept what makes me happy, dear. Daddy, I know what it's like to find joy in a boy. I too have placed my heart in the hands of men who only had intentions to destroy all that is beautiful. I believed him when he called me beautiful, said he loved me, but never meant it. How he used my vulnerability as a key for between my legs entrance, and he took my pride with clenched fists and harsh words. And dear daddy, you weren't there to protect it, dear daddy. I'm in love with a boy with a 6 a.m. smile. But dear daddy, just like you, I'll always be a doubter that he loves me too. But I believe in him like I believe in you, like I believe in stars, and stars are dead, but they still seem to shed light on dark nights. My heart fights my mind on a daily basis, and your face is hard to relate with. Guess I look more like my mother. Dear daddy, did you leave because I remind you too much of her? Did you not know how to love me because you never truly loved her? See, I've spent my life trying to figure out an excuse for you giving up your first child. They say time heals all, but 18 years is. They say time heals all, but 19 years is. They say time heals all, but 20 years is. They say time heals all, but 26 years is quite a while to hurt. It's gotten old, and I'm a fire that's burned cold, dear daddy. I only see myself as glitter, but he caresses the perimeter of my being like I'm gold. He sees a sparkle in my eyes, but he does not know that it's only because I've turned them into lighthouses to guide you home. And I've kept my hand open, hoping that one day you'll fill the spaces in between my fingers with the promises that you never kept. Because I look at you as lost. Don't want to believe you truly left. Dear daddy, I'm scared. The next time I'll see you is in your death, so I accept the apology that you never actually said. And I still pray that a thought of me comes to your head and you realize that I'm not a child anymore, that I've understood what heartbreak felt like far before I've ever loved someone, forced from virgin to whore because I loved someone. Dear daddy, I found a picture of you and my mother, and on the back it said, to mom, I know this isn't what you'd call perfect, but I hope one day you'll accept what makes me happy. Maybe she meant a little girl with lighthouse eyes, hair slightly nappy, and a soul to remind her of all that is true, of all the strength that is her in me, despite the pain that is you. I am whole, and I am worthy, and you're not here to hear me speak, so maybe I shouldn't bother. But I will stand here like, look what God has made of me. Sincerely, your daughter.
Mm.
Thanks, y'all. So, yeah, that was the first poem that I ever, got up on the mic to share for First Thursdays, and I'm really grateful, like I said, to have had a space to speak a truth that was, so deeply rooted. Since then, I just this past year was actually able to reconnect with my father, and we are now, building a relationship. And so, though that is that is a narrative that is no longer what my reality is, it's still necessary that I put that on paper because it is a contributing factor to how I continue to move through my life. And as I continue to embark on my healing, I'm able to look at where I've been and also where my writing has been. Um, and the thing that I really love about poetry as well is how it's also a timestamp, right? You can remember where you were when you wrote it, and what was coming out of you, what you were feeling in that moment, and it brings you back to the present moment as well. There's that saying of go back and find, right? And sometimes in order to figure out who you are and where you are, you have to go back to see where you've been. And so I'm grateful to have written something like that helped me to understand where I've been. But at the time, poetry for me was very much rooted in my pain, because that's for a while that's all I knew, and it's what I created an identity of. And I remember a few years ago, I was in a relationship with someone who said, your poems are really beautiful, but all you write about is your pain. But when I see you, you have so much joy, and you don't ever let anybody see that. And at first I was taken aback. I was like, who are you to tell me about my poetry only being about this? Like, it brought me joy, and it moved me places, and I felt very like invalid for a second, until I realized that there is multiple facets and layers of who I am, and that my pain, though it is something that does deserve a space and a platform to, to be processed and also to be shared so that, it meets people where they're at and so that they don't feel alone. My joy also deserves to reach people in the same way so that they know that these type of things are possible. And especially as a person who's a young person, but also a Black woman, you know, I think that so much of our existence has had to have been rooted in our pain and our resilience, and so much of who we've had to be is a strong Black person, a strong Black woman. And though we are very strong, we have parts of ourselves that hurt, but we also have parts of ourselves that deserve to be soft, you know? And so I was challenged to write something about joy, write something about something that made me feel good. And it was really hard for me to do so because I wasn't comfortable with it, you know? I felt like if I was going to share my joy, that maybe it would be bragging. And I didn't really even know how to put words to joy because it would make me feel so good that I didn't think I had words. So I wrote this piece um, while I was actually sitting um, and getting my hair done by um, by a partner, by my partner at the time. And I thought to myself, instead of trying to make joy this grandiose thing, why not write about joy in the present moment? And so this is called The Best Part. It has a little backtracking. I hope that you guys can hear it. So here we go. You part your legs. I pull up a pillow and sit between them. You part my hair and oil my scalp like we tracing lines to freedom. There is love here. It feels easy and we laugh at whatever's on the TV when I can see it. You tell me, tilt your head this way, stare, concentrated, comb in your mouth, fingers spread across my forehead, trying to make sure my part is straight and even. We celebrate this little grip of hair I grew. Finally got enough of some cankalon to hold on to. Finally got enough grip on myself for you, like look what commitment do. Look what working with what you got gets you. We get a chance to lock eyes and you tell me something like, good heavens, you fine as hell. Smile, kiss my forehead, call me mama like I know conceiving well, a small achievement, but a symbol of growth. And you've been here since I was too scared of stuck that I'd cut and dye my hair about twice a month, but I took an oath to stop turning to the same ways to cope. I learned patience with this process, with this unlearning what used to be enough reason for running away. You make me want to stay, face all my fears and plant myself here and grow and wither and curl and gray through years of getting to know myself again and again and again. And in each version of me, I find in you both lover and friend with comb and hands and oil for my scalp. Fertile soil for me to grow in and bloom my way out. I can't imagine anyone being so unwilling to love like this. But today, well, today I don't want to think about it. I just want to do what people who love each other do while loving each other. You feel so good to touch. Feels so good to lean upon and trust in who got faith in me, who got faith in love like some Moses who parts Red Sea and your staff be rat tooth comb and finger. And my God, I would follow you 40 years to promised land. Willing to get there hand in hand. You hum whatever song is on your heart, whatever gospel good news of God, snap rubber band in between your teeth. And just like all the things I believe in, but I cannot see, I know that you are there. I feel what you are doing. I trust in every carve that you create on the surface of my skull. So when someone with the smell of mockery more than curiosity dares more than cares to ask me, so what do women who love women do? I will tell them this story about you. My lover parts their legs and I pull up a pillow to sit between them. Parts my hair and oils my scalp like we tracing lines to freedom. So there's that piece. This is so interesting. I'm still getting used to like virtual. Um,
Right.
there's nothing like being in person, but I am like super grateful to like be able to join you all in virtual space, you know.
Yeah, we're
Um,
appreciating you.
thank you. Do we have time for a few more, one more, two more?
Got time for, yeah, at least one more.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
All right. So this one is called A Praying Grandmother's Palms. I grew up in the church. Um, and that's another element of my life that I am learning to showcase. I'm no longer a practicing Christian. I actually am a practitioner of the Lukumi faith. Um, and so, even still, in my experience, I have been able to one connect with my ancestors, but also understand how spirituality works along the African diaspora. And I think that, especially with this being Black History Month, that it's very important to not only pay homage to the history of my lineage, um, but also to the resilience of African people, and also how we have been able to use that resilience in the spiritual space. Because even though I no longer practice Christianity, I still have my relationship with God. And I also can see how growing up in a very Black Baptist church, a lot of the things that I was witnessing were actually just African people who were still trying to liberate themselves through their own individual practice. And so that's very important for me to have connected that dot, because once again, as I mentioned before about the going back and finding, I can go back even to the church and find my way home. And I think that there's this narrative these days around, you know, Christianity and colonization, but we also have to give light to the fact that a lot of Black people who practice Christianity did so that they could, one, survive, but also two, still connect to a higher power, and also lay legacy for the rest of their lives and for their lineage. Um, and so I dedicate this to my ancestors, my Christian ancestors, my granny. Um, and so here this goes. I am a humble heart, birthed from the palms of a praying grandmother, her womb, my first sanctuary, where love first opened us and stilled our hearts long enough to hear God's hands on the drum. And like drum, I am a beating heart, often racing, often chasing for bigger and better, but never just for myself. For the wealth of my children and their children and their children, I am one small piece of a bigger picture, a verse half complete in a bigger scripture. A rose bloom from concrete soil that never withers. I am hollering on Sunday. Butterscotch in a purse pocket, a little something to keep sweet, to keep focus on the good word of God. Where tambourines and tambors meet, I am held close. My body hosts both Orisha and Holy Ghost, just depends on where God calls me today. And when my ancestors call me to pray, I get down on my knees in the altar and aisle of wherever they see fit, knowing to thank them for both their grace and my wit. I'm forever connected and never split. This is beyond a blood bond. This is planted in the soil and carried across seas. We are an interruption, a reproduction of an unspoken truth, a breath into existence, a be, and it was, and as above, as below, and so above. This is love. I am a loving heart, birthed from the palms of a praying grandmother. Her womb, my first sanctuary, where love first opened us. So there's that piece. Thank
Love
you.
it. Love it. So inspirational. Wow. 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 Take me back to my grandmother in the Baptist church. Oh man. Wow. I'm definitely gonna have to write me a piece about that. Man, let's give it up one more time for T. Braswell. Tyanna, please stay around. If we get a chance, we have time, we would love to hear, another piece from you. Um, yeah, I appreciate you. I'm not gonna be long-winded, but it's good to see um, poets come full circle, you know, and putting First Thursday together for a space to share. This is exactly what First Thursday was created for. Is what you just brought, and the being that you are, to be supported, to support you and your pen, and your exploration, through that pen. That's awesome. Thank you once again. Thank
Thank
you
you
once
guys for
again.
having me. And it's always so great to see your face, McTay. And you too, Diana. It's really good to see you as well. Thank you for facilitating the space always.
You are truly welcome. You are truly welcome. You're truly welcome. Um, I want to see Melanie Joy. Are you ready to share with us?
Yay. Hi. It's good to be
Hello.
back.
Welcome
um,
back.
yeah, thank you. I'm so grateful for, is it, forgive me if I don't say your name, Tyanna? Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Okay, good. Beautiful name. And beautiful work. And oh gosh, both all beautiful pieces. Your first one really brought me to tears. There was a line where you mentioned a man taking a woman's vulnerability, and um that really hit home, and I just wanted to say thank you for touching on such deep subjects such as the ones that you did, and I'm grateful that I got to hear your pieces, and I know that you're going to continue to touch people everywhere you go with your work. So thank you for sharing with us. Um, I also wanted to say that I am grateful to be here. I'm a lot better than I was a few weeks ago, but I did recently get COVID. So I'm really grateful to be alive. And I know that's a weird, probably, I just wanted to start by saying that I'm grateful to be alive and I'm grateful to be here. So thank you. Um, for the first one, I wrote this recently. I got to thinking about how we live in a very, well, it's a very, it's an understatement, but we live in a very colorful society. And there's so much that goes on out there. And there's that quote that talks about, I think if you can just continue to be yourself in a world that's constantly changing. I forget exactly how it goes, but that got me to thinking about this piece here. And the title of this is Our True Identity is in Jesus Christ. And I'm a Christian, so my faith ties into my life very strongly. So I wanted to share this with you. I don't want to be just another newsfeed topic you scroll through. I want to be a valued soul with a heart of gold that will be treasured even when it isn't easy. Am I pretty beyond the sepia and black and white filters? Am I important beyond the car I just posted a selfie with? Am I more than the object men make me out to be? Women should be more than breasts. Men should be more than their manhood. We are more than the sum of our bodies. We are souls that yearn to be uplifted. We are hearts that hunger to be loved, even when we're broken. We are entities that God created with a purpose. We have value beyond what society has crafted for us, beyond the expectations media has bestowed upon us to look a certain way, beyond the stereotypes that are constantly being thrown our way like daggers, aimed to destroy and chip away our identities, beyond the way our status gets defined by our financial income or our career or what car we drive, when all work has value. We are children of the King who determines our lives and our steps before we even know it. He has a plan for us all, and our worth is in Him alone. Now, it's easier said than done to believe and trust in it, but I choose to because it's all I have left to cling on to in a world as messed up as this one. So that's the first one.
Okay.
And my last is called When You Knock Now, Nobody Will Be Home. And I shared this before, but I am a survivor slash victim of domestic abuse, domestic violence, and I want to strive to speak out against that. in whatever way I can. And my heart goes out to those who may have endured or are enduring the same circumstance. You can't just come and go expecting me to wait for you every single time, because now I'm gone and you're back, and I'm not your doormat to step on and ring my doorbell whenever you please. And I choose to no longer live in a so-called home where you beat me and call that love. The only thing you can pound your fist against is that door, because that door is no longer going to be me, because I refuse to settle for what I know I don't deserve. This by no means makes the healing or the trauma easier. What it does is lay down boundaries which you clearly don't have. That's why I'm setting them for me. When you knock now, nobody will be home. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you very much, Melanie Joy. Wow. Appreciate it. Let's give it up. Yes, indeed. Great place to share. Great place to share. It is good seeing you and seeing everyone here. This is why we're here. And we have a new poet I would like to welcome to the stage. JR, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's give it up for JR Villarreal.
All right. So, I just really started actually writing, like getting deep into it recently. And this is my second to last that I wrote, focusing on my addiction, my story, my addiction of 2 years. So this one's called To Addict. Oh, you're an addict? What's up? I am too. For a fix, there's no telling the things that I would do. In the streets, I sold my warmest pair of pants. I never sold my body, but I would if I had the chance. My actions spoke louder than my words I've written. Sobriety gives me all the things that drugs didn't. Family crying, tears rolling, eyes glistened. Begged me to stop many times. I didn't listen. Back in school, they tried scaring us with dare. I still took all the drugs in the world. I didn't care. Overdosed 3 times. You think that would stop me? But I kept going even when the cops got me. Homeless or not, I wake up feeling homesick because drugs is the only one I ever truly had a home with. No flu or virus could beat being dope sick. Feeling soulless, hopeless, only one thing to cope with. But now, I don't need drugs to rest my head upon and lean. Because guess what? Now I'm almost 3 months clean. So this is to the addict who still suffers. It's tough now, but don't let it get tougher. So that was my first one. Thank you. That was my first one. There's another one I wanted to share. I just wrote up earlier today, just messing around. Saturdays are for the family. Stand up guy, but can't tell me, can you really stand me? Can you understand me when I talk like this? I walk like this, never seen a watch like this. Sundays are for church, trying to find God deep in his soul he searched. It worked, and it wouldn't be the first. The work of God, the type of work that can't be reworked. So to God we pray, not for another week, but for another day. Just talked to God just the other day. He said, go to church and don't be late. And if you disobey, I'll still make you a plate. You'll still have a place, and you'll still have my grace. The type of love that don't judge. Got a problem, just sweep it under the rug. I'm the type you see giving out free hugs. Used to love drugs. Love, not drugs. I practice what I preach. Did so much dirt, I was baptized in bleach. Sanitized, sanctified, the sake of lies. I'm on a quest. God put me to a test, gotta get it off my chest. Live my life in sin. Never thought I'd fight with the devil and win. And that's the final one.
All right. Thank you for sharing.
Of course. Thank you.
Being so vulnerable. This is that space. We appreciate that. Yeah. As we mentioned before, poetry is very cathartic, and it allows us to explore and heal ourselves, in our search for solace. So definitely appreciate that. Next, I would like to welcome John Dorrance. John, are you ready for us?
Yes, I am, Dictate. I'm ready. I guess I will share screen here. Let's see. Okay. There we go. This is a piece I recently composed at De Anza. De Anza is a great school, and right now I'm taking a short story program and really enjoying it. So this came out of that program. It's about a 5-minute flash piece, and it seems that lately I can't seem to go away from the ocean with my stories. I've had a lot of loss the last year and a lot of grief, so I think that's where this is coming from. Anyway, here we go. It's called Rapture of the Deep. Last week, his private scuba instructor had tossed a bowling ball into the training pool. The black sphere first sunk, then levitated. It stayed halfway between the surface and the pool's bottom. Bill recalls the ball looked happy, suspended in its neutral buoyancy, Earth's pressures from above, from below, equalized by physics and God's unreliable mercy. It was halfway between heaven and hell. The executive laughs. His mirth bursts through his regulator. Each of Bill's bubbles rise through 120 feet of salt water, weaving through the deep, cold blue and the elastic stalks of swaying bull kelp to pop at the top of Monterey Bay. I wonder if anybody hears my laughing up there. He sits alone on the bottom, giggles. The air gauge reads 750 pounds per square inch. His breathing sounds uncomfortably mechanical and familiar to Bill through his hose and regulator, like the controlled hissing of the healthcare oxygen respirator that Jody had needed those final weeks at home before she had died clutching his right hand. When she could, Jody had softly spoken to Bill. She speaks to him now, even down here with the bony fish in their swim bladders, they weep together. His wife's ending made Bill chief executive officer of healthcare, the nation's largest medical supply company. Finally, believe not in the importance of a well-assisted death, but rather in the unbearable density of sorrow that follows. Don't forget me when this world returns to normal, when all this is over, she had whispered. Please work less, go places and have lots of fun, dear heart. Forget you? I could never forget you, Jody. Bill watches a moon jelly pulse over his head. A wolf eel pokes its fierce snout from between a rock crevice. The private lessons were worth every cent of the 10 grand I paid for them, Jody. A yearning for scuba first occurred to Bill in grade school after Mom had carted him and his kid brother to the Moss Beach tide pools. The future billionaire joyfully collected hermit crabs and speckled octopi in his mayonnaise jar. These wonders he would foist on anyone who would look. During their honeymoon in Tahiti 50 years back, Bill had wanted Jody to take scuba lessons with him. They could learn together so as to explore the South Pacific's underwater marvels. But it wasn't to be. I'm scared of what lurks in the depths, Jody had said then, and says even now. And she had pulled him playfully back into their resort's luscious bed, both of them half drunk on champagne, pleased with each other beyond words. His air gauge reads 95 pounds per square inch, its needle nearly touching black. Following the bowling ball demo, safety was discussed, equipment failure, the necessity of always diving with a partner. Bill had wanted to know every little detail, everything concerning rapture of the deep from the dive instructor. Rapture of the deep, also called narcosis, results from breathing gases under high pressures. It happens quickly 100 feet down and instills a happy, tranquil, but very false feeling of mastery over your environment. If a diver doesn't ascend, the life-threatening syndrome leads you to extreme giddiness, visual and auditory hallucinations. 2 pounds per square inch. I told you, Jody, nothing to be scared of down here. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, it is, dear heart. Look, more moon jellies, Jody. The bull kelp, these silly rubber trees are held up by their leaves. I love you. I know. Bill laughs uncontrollably. His Jody watches as his air bubbles swirl around them. The bubbles then turn into miniature translucent bowling balls before Bill's weary eyes and slowly zigzag their way upward, taking the widower's joy to the surface of Monterey Bay. That's it.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And the wonderful image. I was definitely in the deep blue sea.
Yeah, I see
Yes.
writing about the ocean lately, and my grief seems to seep through, but it will pass.
No, it's a great place. It's a great place, man. And we're with you. We're with you. We're with you. Next, I would like to welcome guys to Miss Scorpiana X, awesome poet from San Jose. Let's please welcome her to your screen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just one. This is for my mom and my grandma and all the women in my family. It's called Rose Women. I was raised in a family of women who embraced tragedy like tango partners. Red roses clenched in teeth, teeth gritted in pain, teeth held stiff in military formation, public smiles, because rose women don't put their business in the street, don't tell their drama to asphalt ears, because let's face it, pavement is a gossip. We learn early to two-face secrets into mirrored compacts, wrap lace around gaslights until fingers blister balancing acts like crime scene dioramas, leaking crimson through the cardboard. My grandmother will teach me to use the blood as lipstick, throw shoulders back, comb hair neatly, and smile sweetly whenever the bones in the closet come up for air. The women in my family bathe in suffering like grand luxury, put on airs like drugstore perfume, and consecrate their misery over rosary beads and Holy Communion as if unhappiness were sacred ritual and they were the keepers of the flame. The women in my family pass down bitterness like it's the only heirloom they have to pass on to dutiful daughters, like the way they pass around their prescription tranquilizers as they ask why I'm not married yet, because baby girl, you can't possibly choreograph disappointment until you've settled for failure. The women in my family are more desecrated tombstone than immaculate cathedral. And maybe not the best role models, but they have taught me to fuse iron to spine, to use my pointy-toed stilettos to grind my tears to dust, and to hide misery behind rose-clenched teeth. Thank you. Before I mute myself again, really quick, I am the slam master for San Jose Poetry Slam, and our next poetry slam, we're still on Zoom, is Sunday, February 13th. Yes, I know we're competing against the Super Bowl at 7 o'clock. All are welcome. If you don't want to compete, we could always use judges. If you don't want to judge, we can always use audience. I'm gonna throw the link in here.
Right on.
And then also too, I volunteer with Santa Clara County Youth Poet Laureate Program run by our former Santa Clara County Poet Laureate, Janice Sapagao. If you know any youth residing in Santa Clara County between the ages of 13 and 17 that write poetry, they just have to go on the website if they want to try to apply to be youth poet laureate. And if they don't want to apply but they're just into poetry, there's going to be writing workshops coming up. There's going to be like youth open mic events. I'll throw the link up there. And yeah, and I am a De Anza alumni. So I commented earlier, all the best people, really long time ago, I think like 84 through 87. So this is like ancient, dance major, woo. So thank you. And thank you for doing this every month, McTate, like,
You got it.
and for holding it down, like holding down community.
You know how us poets do.
Mm-hmm.
You doing your thing, and I appreciate it. So you guys make sure you check it out in the link. The slam, yes, like she said, it's competing against the Super Bowl, but it's there. And please check it out. Please check it out. All right, give it up one more time for Scorpiana X. I see you there, Ken. Be coming at you in a moment. I want to know if Kiana Posey is with us. Is she with us? Deanna, did you see her? I want to make sure. No, I don't think she is. Okay. All right. Ken, you're not running away, are you? Okay, you're running too, not running away. All right. Next, coming to the stage, making his way from the dressing room to the stage, we have none other than Mr. KW Ken Wisner.
Oh man, you're catching me off guard now. But you're good at that. Did you already read one tonight?
I did.
So I can't believe I missed. I got in late and I missed Tyanna. So
Well, I'm hoping that she has a piece for right after you. So that was my plan.
oh, okay, all right. Well, I'm not prepared, but I'll read something here.
Okay.
If she wants to go first, I could be more prepared.
Okay. I think Tyanna, how you feel about that? You ready? Sounds like she may be.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Just give me like 2 seconds.
Okay, you got him.
This is now's the time when the MC shows you show your stuff, you fill.
right. I feel. You know what? Let me feel. Oh, okay. So in all of this, I had to learn to let go, right? Learn to let go. And you see, it's been a while. I still got style, plus a few more grays. The wisdom to turn a phrase, flip the script, come equipped, like them good old days. Because you see, I am back to writing again. Like best kept with a mic and the lights all dim. Because unlike many men who write of plenty sin, I write to enlighten. I said, unlike many men who write of plenty sin, I write to enlighten.
Mm.
And next coming to the stage, we have Tyanna Braswell. Let's give it up for Tyanna.
Hey y'all, I'm back. Thank you for having me back. I do have another piece that I can share with you all. Interesting that you were just doing one about letting go for a bit, just to come back. And I think that letting go is a really beautiful surrender. And I've learned to look at letting go as more of an offering to whatever fills you, so that you can make space for it, but also so that what fills you knows that you trust it to, right? So whatever that source being is, whether it's God, whether it's whatever it is that you believe in, you know. And so this is called Faith's Hymn. And I wrote this in the middle of the night one night just because I heard this song called Faith's Hymn by the Beautiful Chorus. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but you should totally check them out if you have. And so this is that. Faith says to me, put it down, but I don't know who I am without it. I don't know where it goes outside of my hands. I want to hold my breath and all the wind inside me. Yes, I know there's always more, but the reality that this could be my last makes a clenched fist of my lungs, fighting with the exhale, surrendering to the coming, to the going, to the unknown amidst all this knowing, to my insides being broken and spilled out, what a mess of my magic it might make. Not knowing what of it gives and how much of it takes. But sometimes having to trust that I am deserving and worthy, that I amount to more than just hurting, that inside of me is all that I need to keep working, that I am the perfect start. That what source and spirit moves me to and through has finally made me clean and with a pure enough heart. Silly of me to not trust the very ground I stand on, to be fertile enough to plant and root myself, to grow into something steady. I'd rather run. I'd rather fly. Rather be hummingbird who never soars, just sings and sucks nectar, dives down and rises up, and only shows up to remind everything of what is still here. Just long enough to be acknowledged, long enough to hope to be caught by eyes grateful enough to pay attention, to know that I am still and here. To know that faith will carry me through what I still fear. To know that I am more than what has happened already. To know that there is still tool and time to use beyond all that I am forgetting, and letting the stories that were once told become old and die. Letting my pain return to where it resides, and giving myself the liberty to see what am I without it all, within the fall. Trust that I am carried by the wind, that I am cleansed by the storm, that I am moved by the delivery of death, that I am meant to be reborn, and this new life is mine, just mine and all mine, just fine and all time will tell everything about the shed, will show me beyond the doubts that occupy my head, and make fruit and make limb and make lumber and make root and make truth and make truce and make use of what's left and who's kept, and let me be. Both in the now and what's next, make a safe place for me to play in what I haven't touched yet. Let it all hold me. Mold me into a dream that this living once sold me. Oh, faith, take my head and my hands that I may prostrate myself before you. Teach me how to stand. Teach me what I can. Carry me home. Carry me home. Carry me home. Carry me home. Carry me home and back to who I am. So that's that piece, y'all.
That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
Love your words and your melodicness. Like, yes, keep being you. Keep being you.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Appreciate y'all.
Awesome. Yes. And next up, let's give it up for Ken Wisner.
Oh boy! Oh, thanks. You're always so generous, letting me read something, even if I show up late, man. But I can't follow that. That was, but I'm going to have to try. I guess that's my job. So maybe I'll read you a couple of these poems I wrote about the owls. I've been writing to the owls, you know. So the second person, you are the owls.
Okay.
And this is called owls on Independence Day. How you owls hold your ground at the tops of the redwoods while fireworks blast, just a street away from the mortars and the bottle rockets. Doesn't phase your gaze over the fresh mown meadow rustling in moonlight. Bill Sadler, Iraq vet from a few doors down, PTSD, what it takes for him to get through the night. Cocooned in headphones, passed out on the basement couch. His dogs, restless. How powerful the hiss, the concussion, the refrains, the woman he lost. Your hearing, 10 times as good as a man's, yet holding your position in the tree crowns. Then 5 huge cannons, each followed by a hissing 10 times higher than a tree tall chrysanthemum spray shower of blood and bubblegum, yellow, gold, lucky green, all above the street, but flickering here like blacklight Saigon disco ball, so bright I can see illuminations of you in movie frame pulses. But you have had enough. Your wings strobe unfold. In each of 5 lit frames, you take a flight deeper into the woods. Turns out you weren't immune to the pounding strafe of false day. A little sad to see you go, yet thrilling to watch you rise in that surreal light, like watching statuary come to life. The gargoyle flies from the cathedral. I want to tell you my feelings, share my ideas on military spending, the ones causing war. How often are they the ones most devastated by losing a family, a village, a wife, a child? Small comfort. You'll outlast us. You'll be back hunting voles and field mice before the children are tucked in their beds, before the firecracker casings are damp with dew.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, Ken.
Listen.
We'd like to thank everyone for showing up this evening and sharing with us the vulnerability, the beauty of words. It was all here tonight. We appreciate it. We'd like to also thank our sponsors, the wonderful Youth Frat Museum, Tyanna Algebright, also the Anza Student Government, Community Education Division. Thank you guys for allowing us to have this wonderful platform of poetry, and definitely would like to thank our wonderful and beautiful featured artists this evening, Tyanna T. Braswell. Let's give it up.
Thank you all so much.
Appreciate all of the wonderful poets. You guys did a wonderful, wonderful job, and thank you for sharing and always being here. Appreciate it. Thank you.